Good evening. Welcome to Music Minute at Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry. We're taking a look at the hymns we'll be using in worship tomorrow, October 8th. And we'll start with our sending hymn, The Church of Christ in Every Age. And this was a hymn that they requested to have something that would tie the relationship of Sabbath and Sunday together. Doesn't that sound like fun? The text went to an LBW, the 1978 Green Hymnal, you might recall, and there was a committee on that creation of that hymnal that actually requested some changes to the hymn. So the changes were employed, and the author actually responded that the, quote, changes asked for by your committee have improved it. So he was a fan of those changes. This is actually a tune that the English psalmists had used for several years in many different hymns that you might have heard or be familiar with, and it's really withstood the test of time quite well. This is the Church of Christ in Every Age. Very reflective view of that hymn. Our next hymn will be the communion hymn, Taste and See, and this was written for the 25th anniversary of ordination of a pastor in Cincinnati. And the hymn has been sung all over the world, including the Pope's visit in the United States and Australia. It's based on the first 10 verses of Psalm 34, and its author was actually born in La Crosse, Virginia. And it's a great piece that's situated for a cantor and choir to sing the verses, and then the assembly joins in on the refrain. So this is Taste and See. to our hymn of the day. That's one I think most people are familiar with, When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. And this text is based on Galatians, actually chapter 6, verse 14. And it's another Isaac Watts hymn, and we'll see his hymn again next week, actually. Another one of his hymns. And this is one of those hymns that has many versions. And this is one of the versions that are not the original, is what's in our hymnal. So the tune is named for the German city Hamburg. And the tune is based on the first Gregorian psalm tone. So there's a little bit of history for you there. When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. And for our final hymn that we'll be looking at today, our gathering hymn, All Creatures Worship God Most High. And this was a hymn that was in the Umbrian dialect, and it was by St. Francis of Assisi. It was a response to the 12th reading of the Easter Vigil, and it also might possibly have been based on an 11th century Advent hymn as well. The text was put to this tune, but that was not the original meter intended in the poem as it was written. So as we do all the time, we put things to different settings and so forth. And this was modified to fit this tune, and that's how they saw it working and how we ended up with this. You might recognize this as All Creatures of Our God and King, or Now All the Vault of Heaven Resounds, one of those particularly tunes. So, All Creatures Worship God Most High. one you might recognize as well. Hope you enjoyed that and learned something a little bit different tonight. If you're joining us for worship tomorrow in the sanctuary, that will be at 8 o'clock and 8:30 and 11 o'clock. The 11 o'clock service will be live streamed on our YouTube channel as always. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll look forward to talking again next week.